Okay, let's this morning talk about what your agent must tell you about the property, material facts. It's interesting when they come to the open house, what they do have to tell you and what they don't have to tell you. We're going to go through it right now. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Aha!
Good
Uh-huh.
morning.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. You've been doing some studying again.
Again, yeah, so it seems like Monday night is the time for me to really just hone in on all things real estate facts, and really building up on my bank of knowledge so that I can be a kick-ass saleswoman.
And we're going to share this with everyone today. We're going to share this with everyone today as well.
Yes, we are. So welcome. Today we are talking about all things. What are we talking about, Mark?
Well, we use the word serial in the heading, which is a bit scary, but it's stuff in a property that you think to yourself, that agent should have told me that. Or sometimes you even see it in the news that the agent didn't tell people stuff. So it can be as serious and as sinister as a death in the property, but it can be also innocent as well.
Absolutely. So we're talking about all things material facts. So let's break it down now, Mark, as an authority figure in this industry. In layman terms, what actually is a material fact in the world of real estate?
Well, I can't compete with what you read out to me before. That was so. It's just going to make me look stupid. What did you when we were doing the notes before? A material fact is a fact that matters. What is it again?
So to rewind a little bit, I did a little bit of just getting information out of my brain onto the page, because I have a very bad habit of just going off on a tangent. So I did find the definition of a material fact, and it is, just let me read from the screen here, a fact that would be important to a reasonable person in deciding whether or not to proceed with a particular transaction or a particular purchase. So that would be a potential purchaser buying a block of land or a unit or anything like that. And it could even relate to a tenant moving into a rental property. So any fact that would sway their decision in applying for that lease or applying to purchase that property.
So it's pretty open-ended, and it's pretty, you better do the right bloody thing, Mr. Real Estate Agent, or you're going to get cooked.
Absolutely.
It's not really confining it to any specific. It's not saying floods. It's not saying death. It's just saying anything reasonable.
Yes, a fact that would be important to a reasonable person, and some things you might not be able to find in your level of research as a prospective purchaser. It might truly need to come from the sales agent to disclose that information. For example, let's just cut it down the line. Let's start real doom and gloomy, death in a property. You might not be able, it might not be a murder, it might not be anything that's broadcast on the news, but if there was to be a death in your property, an agent does need to disclose that information. It could have psychological traumas on you if you believe in the hoobie-joobies and the ghosts and all of that kind of thing. So that could seriously impact your decision in buying that property.
The home of a convicted killer.
Yeah, that also would be one of them. Absolutely. If you're a convicted killer,
and you're selling your home, that sounds within what you've spoken about the definition, that fits within that definition that you should be telling a buyer.
Yeah, and if there was a serious crime within your property as well. So do you have a meth den? I don't know. If you do, and we're aware of that as real estate agents, and you want to sell your property, we do need to disclose that information to any prospective buyer.
So, and what's interesting is it actually does fade away. So that story in 5 years, 15 years, or 35 years can get lost and is not as important and may not be as important. But certainly when it's fresh, it's even more important to be disclosed.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to say all material facts are very detrimental to the selling of your property. There are actually some facts, material facts, that are really positive. Like you touched on before, a DA approval can be a really big positive if you want to invest in your property, make it even better for a resale, build it up. If you've got that pre-approval, then that can do some serious wins to the price of your property.
Yep. Now, this can also be handled within the contract as well. So as long as that disclosure is actually made and a purchaser has acknowledged it, it doesn't particularly have to come out of the agent's mouth at the time of the open house when you first go through the property, but it does have to be disclosed. So some of this DA stuff, I even know granny flat stuff. If a granny flat, it has been approved or has not been approved, or actually even the vendor doesn't know whether it's been approved or not approved, to make that disclosure in a contract doesn't mean the agent has to have 50 buyers through and go, I don't know if that granny flat's approved or not, to 50 buyers. But if it's in that contract saying, just so you know, the owner's not aware if it's approved or not approved, that's good enough.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I suppose that does make perfect sense. You don't want to be telling every single person that comes through the open home every single material fact, every single bit of information. You'll just be there regurgitating all of these facts for the whole entire open home. It really does come down to finding the right person who's willing to make that offer, and then talking about it when you go through the contract of sale and bits and pieces like that.
Now, you mentioned some other items that you should mention as material fact. I think you mentioned fire or flood.
Yes. So if your property is in flood-prone area, has water damage, and similarly is in a bushfire-prone zone, then that's something that we as selling agents, real estate agents, must inform you. That's a material fact.
Okay. And that's particularly relevant lately, like all that stuff that's been going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a real sensitive one. So, yeah, you got to be. I think that again, a lot of that's covered within a contract. Whether it's, I think the zoning certificates will actually cover whether properties are in sensitive areas to flood or sensitive areas to fire. But certainly got to be disclosed.
And we did notice a lot of water damage, particularly in units with all of the heavy rain that happened recently. And a lot of that information can also be obtained through the strata report. And I know we've touched on that in previous morning minutes, but yes, if you are thinking of buying a property, always do your due diligence as well. Purchase the strata report, and then you get up-to-date current information about that property itself.
Yeah, got it. If you've just tuned in, what we're talking about is material facts that agents, rental and sales must divulge to you when you see a property. When I say see, it doesn't mean they've got to grab you before you walk through the door and tell you all the negative stuff or positive stuff straight away, but you just should know in the event of buying or renting the property, and it may even come out on when you're checking the contract and stuff like that. And what's that definition again? Great definition that you read out there at the beginning.
Okay, yes. So a material fact, now I did write this down like I mentioned earlier, just so I don't lose my words. So a material fact is a fact that would be important to a reasonable person in deciding whether or not to proceed with a particular transaction or a particular purchase.
Yeah. So there's not much wriggle room there for real estate agents to say, "Oh, I didn't know." That's pretty bloody open ended for people for agents and for people to sort of claw back on, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So we have gone things like death in a home, serious crime, if your property has been related to a serious crime, DA approval, so a positive. We've gone through fire-prone areas, flood-prone areas, Other things that we can touch on involve asbestos and loose fill asbestos insulation. So if your property does have asbestos, in particular old school houses that go up on the market that haven't had much love, they haven't been demolished and revamped, they are prone to have asbestos. And I know that from my parents' place, when we remodeled that 10, 15 years ago, there was asbestos in the insulation.
Got it. So, guys and girls, there you go. If you're looking to buy something or rent something, you should have a reasonable ease in your mind there that agents are going to do the right thing and are going to tell you, because they are compelled, if it is going to make an impact on you, to say something. And that sounds like a wrap.
It does indeed. It does.
Hey, Anthony, before you go, I want to talk about you being the compere on Saturday's auction.
Oh, really? You know what? That was so much fun. But I rewatched that Facebook Live video that night, and my eyes were like this the whole time. It was like serial killer crazy eyes. I just forgot to blink. I forgot to dial it back a little bit.
You nailed it. And if anyone doesn't know, at auction on Saturday, we took Australia's record for the week out for auction results. We were 21.5 sold under the hammer. Now, it was an extraordinarily long auction. It was a 45-minute auction that we covered on YouTube, Facebook. It's on Instagram as well. And Anthony and Natalie Patterson were the hosts. Two girls that have not been in real estate more than 6 or 9 months, and great job. Great job. You kept us hanging on the end of our seats the whole way and explained everything immaculately. So, guys, watch that. I reckon it's the best auction I've ever seen in 30 years of real estate, and with the great commentating there, it's better than watching some trash on Netflix. I put it up on the big telly on Saturday night, and I watched it and paused it and rewound it and played it and rewound and played it, and I was like, that was a killer auction.
It was fun. The whole community got involved. It was a really fun morning, a long auction like you had touched on, but everyone was just hanging on with bated breath just to see what would happen. Thank you. What a lovely comment coming through.
Yeah. Marie said she certainly did awesome work, Anthony.
Thank you,
yeah,
Marie.
we actually had Lisa was saying she had a long chat with a buyer yesterday, and it was there was definitely, that's what you call a sleeper in the auction. There was, or what you called it a dark horse.
I had no idea. I just said a word. I used conviction. Look,
dark horse is probably the spot on word, actually. But that was definitely the dark horse. That was definitely the sleeper that just came out of nowhere and just went. And you heard, and it was like in the movies when there's a beheading, an 18th century beheading, and the whole crowd goes, oh! Like during the auction, I think it's at 37 minutes if you want to fast forward. You see the sleeper come out. You see the dark horse come out, $500,000 more in the final 0.5 of a second, and the crowd goes like shocked. The crowd's just like in awe. So well done. Thank you. I'll
be here every auction from henceforth to provide you with running commentary.
The best. Have a good one, and everyone have a great day today. And let's smash it out to Chrissy. It's coming pretty fast now. Not long.
Yeah. How many weeks?
There's another word. Out of the woodwork. Sleeper. Dark horse.
Sleeper.
3 terms there.
Woodwork. All right, I'll put that in my memory bank for the next auction so I can bring out these correct terms.
The repertoire. You'll have all 3 of them to blast out. Till Christmas, we've got to exchange. We're probably only a week or 2 of exchanges if you want to be living in the property by Christmas.
Yeah, good time
And
to
if you want to buy, great time to buy and get in, or rent and get in. And if you want to buy or just exchange, I think it's not long. It's pretty much 8 weeks, eh?
Yeah, literally
It's
around
8
the
or
corner. But like you
yeah,
said, let's smash it out until
exciting.
Christmas. Yes, love
So
Christmas,
exciting.
festive. Have a fantastic day, everybody. I'll see you same time next Tuesday.
See you, legend. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.